Hello. Today we approach the Wheel of Fortune. And once again, the progression from the past couple of cards towards the Wheel of Fortune is very interesting and very important. We went from strength, where we learned true strength by turning around and facing our demons, what we're afraid of, what we don't like, rather than running away from it, and learning how to truly see and understand and accept, and from there, having a kind of strength that is unshakable. Then, learning that, we learned how to delve deeper. So, with the Hermit, we spent a day, or hopefully some portion of the day, alone in a hermitage, in a place of solitude and quiet, or finding the techniques that can bring us, finding within ourself, and doing this by ourself, finding the way to find that centered place. Well, I hope you did that. I hope you found at least some time to yourself and gained some sense of how to get to that inner place, because you are going to need it today. Today, with the Wheel of Fortune, we are tossed back into the real world where things happen, and things happen quickly. It can be easy to find a place of centeredness and balance when you are on your own. But it can be a lot harder to do that in the real world, where things happen and they just come at you. And, sometimes things are good and it's easy to find that place of serenity. And sometimes things are not the way you want it and it's not so easy. I remember going from yoga classes in New York when I lived in New York, and feeling, peaceful and serene and calm and happy, and getting in my car to drive somewhere. And like within seconds or split seconds, I would be swearing at everybody, and I would be really angry. I'd be like, okay, So, this is what we're talking about, how to return to that place in the face of, the more complicated things that the world throws at you. So let me show you some of the cards. Here's my card, and it shows the light and dark, the wheel ever spinning with the light and dark. And remember, the card is backwards, so the lightest spot is actually at the part approaching the center, which always feels really great, and the center. And the darkest spot is the part approaching the nadir, and approaching the top was the light, and approaching the nadir and at the nadir is the dark. Here's my other card, which shows the wheel spinning with a crown at the top. And here is, I like the old-fashioned versions because they really show, a blind naked woman spinning that wheel so that there's just some capricious force making things happen, with a happy couple at top and a man falling off at the bottom. And here's the Rider-Waite with a symbol of wisdom and knowledge at the top, the Sphinx, and a devil-like figure at the bottom. And here's Crowley, which has a similar imagery, also a Sphinx at the top. The world is capricious and unpredictable, and there's no way of avoiding that. There is no spiritual practice that will prevent you from experiencing the events of life that can be painful, that can be difficult, or that can be good. You'll still have good things and bad things. No security is promised to you by spiritual practice. What is promised to you is self-knowledge and self-awareness, and hopefully that ability to continually return to the center, where you can look at the events, where you can find a certain center in the emotion, the difficult emotions that arise, and the positive ones, the greed or anger or intense desire or frustration or boredom or depression. All these difficult emotions too, that's like the bottom part of the wheel, just as happiness and prosperity and joy and acceptance, that's all the top of the wheel. What spiritual practice is supposed to do is to help you return to that center all by yourself and be okay with whatever's happening. Not, understand and take the actions necessary, and not deny what is bad or good, but to be interested in any of it and to take it all on as your life and your path. Um, we all prefer to ride the top of the wheel, but actually for most of us, even the top of the wheel isn't good enough. We have, the prosperity, the good things happening to us, the fame, the money, the abundance, the wonderful partner, and we still somehow think it should be more most of the time. And likewise, the bottom always seems a lot worse than it ought to be as well. But so the what we learned with strength and with the hermit is really important to continually practice, no matter where we are. At the top, we can get kind of proud of ourselves, and at the bottom, we can become despairing. Um, and pretty much we've all managed to get all of it. If any of you haven't managed to experience any of the bad things in life along with the good, I'd be happy to hear about it. So, faced with the awareness of what it means to accept our fears and what we're afraid of, and to continually return the practices, using the tools, the practices and techniques that we may have learned by ourselves or with a wise person, we are now ready to face the world and to face its ups and downs, and to try to find what this means is to try to find the hub, the center of the wheel. Because the wheel is spinning around the hub in this imagery. The hub itself doesn't spin. So the more we can find that center, the more, even though we still have to act in accordance to take on the responsibilities and do the work that comes our way with wherever we are on the wheel, we can occupy that centered place where we are less affected by it, less emotionally overwhelmed by it. One way that I find interesting to do this is with the fire ceremony, which is part of the Hindu tradition. And in the fire, you do this morning and night, and you say to the sun, to the fire, and to the progenitor, whatever you consider, whoever you consider, whatever you consider that progenitor to be, you say, idam namama, this isn't mine. And there's a real power in that. As everything I've said all along, it doesn't change that you still have to do what you do, but you give away the results. And you give away as well all the feelings that come with it, the need, the desire, the anger, the hopes and the plans, all that you want so desperately to happen. You accept that your control is limited, and you give it all away to the forces of life on this earth, the sun, fire, and whoever started the whole thing. All of these forces that are responsible for our human life on earth. You say, this is yours, not mine. I'll do my best, but ultimately, bigger forces than I are at work here. Enjoy your day working, being thrown back into the wild unpredictability and craziness of the world, whether it's in a big way or a small way, and see how long you can stay in the center. Is it a minute? A second? It doesn't matter. Any amount is helpful. And even just see how close you can get to the center in the face of what's happening. Even just a split-second awareness that there is a center helps you. Have a great day, and tomorrow we will find the last way that we come to of dealing with duality, right now at least, justice. Talk to you soon.